Morning sounds a little loud. Okay. And today is April 24th, 2025, and we are starting the Sykesville Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. So first is approval of the meeting minutes from the February and March meeting, so we'll do these individually. So I motion to approve the meeting minutes from the February 27th, 2025 meeting.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any abstentions?
Is that the one that wasn't there?
Yeah, I think we both
I
were
wasn't
there
there.
for that one. So,
Were you there?
I was there for.
Okay, so we got the 4th.
Yeah.
Okay. I motion to approve the meeting minutes for the March 27th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
I abstained for that one.
Okay. And then moving on to business. So the first thing is the note card design. So this is in reference to the thank you cards that Chris has been sending out over the years to sponsors. Did you want to talk a little bit?
I just think the current thank you notes that we have are gone, and they have our old logo on them, so I propose to order new ones with envelopes with our logo on it so that I can send them to sponsors. And one year we sent them to the farm that took Sparky from here down for the parade. And I like a thank you note. I think it's important that we thank the people that help us.
Absolutely.
How many do you think we should order?
I'm thinking 25 would be enough.
That's it? Seems kind of, I mean, just from like the sponsorship. Yeah,
This
so
is much
sending
longer
out-
than it used to be.
That is very true. I think the most I've ever written was 6. That's why I was thinking
Okay,
25.
okay.
But now that we have more, how about 50?
That sounds right.
So we put together this for the writing portion, making it, the
that's
logo
nice.
on it kind of transparent, but it's still there, minimalist kind of stuff. And then that would be the back of it, just for some flavor. We don't have to do that. It can be any image we want, really. It could be any pictures we want, or a different direction, 100%.
And then what's on the front?
So this would be the writing portion, and this would be the front of it.
Oh, I
Okay.
thought you said that was the back.
Like the back, so front would be right there then,
Okay.
depending on what you're,
it's not a fold, it's like a post.
Oh, it's a
Right.
postcard. It's not an actual note. Understood. Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Me too.
That's good to me.
okay?
Yeah. Can we get one of those pictures? Can it be us from the Easter egg hunt?
It can, yeah,
Okay, that would be great.
okay.
Right? Thank you.
Sure.
Do we have to make a motion? I'm not making a motion.
I guess so, yeah, because there's money being spent, and
Okay.
everybody needs to be on board with it.
Yeah, we typically would in this case. So I motion to approve the purchase of 50 SPARC note cards.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Okay, and thanks for putting it together, it looks great.
Yeah.
So then the next thing on our list is the Sparkware. So this is a reference to, Drew's been working with Janet Title Saw to come up with t-shirts and hoodies. See pictured there? This is nice having like so I know that we were talking about a little bit in email, kind of the purpose of having them for, so the volunteers would have the volunteer option, and then have ones without the volunteer options for giveaways, or we could, would sell it for very minimal profit at farmers markets or our events.
How much would we have to sell them for to make a minimal profit?
I mean, $16, 15, $16. And Jen has been absolutely amazing, hooking us up with really great prices and stuff like that.
And Jen is from
Jen is from Title Salt,
Anita.
down on Main Street.
Thanks.
Like I said, she's awesome. She's actually in the middle of hooking us up with a table banner, like these things, but we're gonna have a table banner out front. So
someone
down the
suggested
line.
flopping the SPARC and then.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, I like that
I
idea.
liked Nick's idea of having the round logo with the words being larger on the back
Mm-hmm.
and having the spark with the little squirrel being the small thing on the front.
Mm-hmm. And I love a gray t-shirt, but when you wore it to the ACON, it's very hard to see.
Right.
And as our nighttime events come, I think we need a brighter color, whether it's orange or yellow, but we've had those colors in the past. But if somebody needs something and they need to find us, gray is gonna be hard to see at Cooper Park at night. And
Okay.
that's when our biggest time comes. Agreed?
Would we be using them only for us? Or would,
Right.
like,
Somebody
what's the
might-
purpose for them, I guess?
Advertisement, twofold advertisement. One, for people to purchase and then they're wearing it around town and stuff like that. Some people are like, oh, didn't even know we had a volunteer commission for our parks. The other side of that is giveaways of like, hey, here's a $25 gift card to this place and a SPARC t-shirt. It helps to be a motivator in that respect. Volunteer-wise though, it is so that people notice who we are. We kind of have a uniform while we're out, so a brighter color wouldn't be amiss.
Well, can they make the logo reflective in some way, or?
I can always ask.
I mean, I like the gray as it is,
I
if
do
I'm
too.
wearing it, like,
I do too.
out, but as a volunteer, I see your point.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of bright color would fit nicely with the color of our logos?
You could probably slap that on neon yellow, neon green,
Yeah.
and be fine with it.
Yeah,
It
but
wouldn't
then,
be the tricolor circle.
but then it's kind of ugly if we want to try to sell it.
Right.
And that wouldn't be one that we sell.
Okay.
So the great thing about Jen and Title is the fact that we don't have to buy in bulk. So pretty much you'll see a form going around just for you guys.
Sure.
Okay.
And so when I have your hoodie and your t-shirt, I'm just gonna tell Jen, she's gonna give me an invoice and we're done. So, but like purchasing stuff, I'm thinking no volunteer whatsoever. It would be light gray and
Yeah.
it would be 5 small, 5 medium, 5 large. Like,
Do we need more? I kind of think it should kind of stay similar, so that way when we are wearing it, people might want to buy it. I know ours will have volunteer, but it's basically the same just with volunteer. I think it should basically be the same personally.
We do still have those reflective vests. They were in the snack shack. So
Yeah,
some of those.
sure.
I have one at home.
Yeah, I do too. Okay.
yeah, it doesn't have to be either or, it can be and.
Mhm.
It can be gray t-shirt and reflective for when we're working at night and hoodie for when we get chilly and need to cuddle.
It's a swag.
Can you remind me again if we if we have like a line item for this kind of stuff? Would this fall under marketing?
That is, I haven't spoken to Joe about it yet, but that's what I'm gonna sell it to Joe as.
Okay.
Is advertisement marketing. But there's a line somewhere.
Okay. Okay, so do we have to motion to approve this tonight?
We don't have to motion for approval, we can, on the whole thing, we can motion on approval for going ahead for our stuff, and
Okay.
then,
I mean, I'm okay with motioning for all of it. I don't know what we got personally, unless you guys want to wait.
Well, I think we would need to specify either the total number in the order or like the maximum.
Can we motion for however much Joe allows us to have? That's the number.
so, let's just do the motion of, t-shirts and hoodies for commission members right now.
And would they be gray?
These would be gray, they'd be light gray, but that gives us a whole nother month for me to work on Joe to get reflective whatevers.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. All right, so then I motion to approve ordering a t-shirt and a hoodie for each SPARC commissioner.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you, Drew. Roll.
And then the next thing on our agenda is Little Sykes Railroad brochure. So I'm gonna pass this over to you, Drew.
So the old brochure was looking a little old.
That looks great.
So we went ahead and updated it, putting pretty much the same information on there, adding SPARC. We're gonna be working a little bit closer with them going forward. Mark Bennett, I got to meet him today, lovely, lovely man.
Mhm.
Really, I mean, he cares a whole lot, and it shows. So, that being said, yeah, here's the new brochure. Chris, he said any volunteers last minute, you wanna kick his way, he'd love to have them.
Great,
He said if you get somebody older,
yes,
who isn't high school necessarily, that would like to be an engineer,
okay,
I'm looking for somebody who is trustworthy.
okay.
Yeah, so.
Can I volunteer for that?
You absolutely can. Do you mind taking Sundays off? Yeah, so front, back, middles, all that stuff. And talks about the history too, because I mean, it's, believe it or not, it's been here for a while at this point. So
Mhm.
25 years is not gonna stop that.
Mhm.
I think the flyer looks great. Are we gonna have this at the farmer's market, the flyers out?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. And that's that.
Terrific.
Very
Looks
cool.
great.
Is that a trifold?
Another trifold, yeah. Nope.
Not yet.
Joey, do you want me to add your name to the volunteers? Because I can.
10.
What do those, are they battery powered or electricity? Is it, how's that train
The
go?
train?
You know, I don't
Is it on the flyer?
I believe it's battery.
I have no idea. My question's not even asked.
Got little pedals.
All right, so then the last thing on our list before getting the town updates is talking about the Sykesville Cinema and Concert. So this isn't until June 14th, but I wanted to at least start talking about it this meeting, because by next meeting, things will happen quickly. So the movie is Toy Story. And then before the showing of Toy Story, we're gonna have the band shop. They're going to be supplying some of their students to put on a concert for the people that attend.
What time will that start?
Did we say 5 to 7
Okay.
for the band shop?
So we need volunteers here by 4, because we're gonna open the snack shack for the concert.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Sure. What time's sundown in June? 9?
It's 8 something. I think it's like 8:37.
It's way too late, yeah.
Okay. So with the snack shack, so I know in the past, Chris has gone over and cleaned it out and,
I have a volunteer
Correct.
already set up, and we're doing that the last week in May,
Okay.
possibly the first week in June. We'll clean everything out, plug in the refrigerators, and then I will shop and have it all stocked for the 14th, but buy the rolls the night before.
How many people do you normally use? To
So
run
Nick and I, like 2 adults and 2 kids, 2 volunteers, and that's it. 1 volunteer is outside with popcorn, 1 volunteer is inside with Nick and I. Nick runs the cash and I keep an eye on the volunteers and help out in the side. More than that, we're tripping over each other because the space is so small.
it? Okay.
and in the past, we've kind of handled the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's are setting up the equipment.
Yep.
Would you like volunteers to come to help set you up? Would you like an extra pair of hands, or has the wagon made a big difference?
Well, with the new equipment, I don't know if we'll need, it's like really easy to set up now.
Okay.
So,
The wagon, the tire is still flat.
yeah.
Okay.
The wagon's kind of useless right now.
We're normally carrying
Why
these
don't we do
huge ones.
June with none, and then if you think an extra set of hands, I can get one or two more volunteers to
Okay.
just be an extra set of hands.
Okay.
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 If you ever have a volunteer come to you that, I don't know, is like does AV stuff though, like I think it would be really cool to have like a dedicated person like volunteer to set up the movies. It's just we'd have to be able to trust them with the equipment.
We can put that out to my person.
So probably more like senior.
Yeah.
And for June, since the band shop will already be there, it'll already be up, like the speaker part. So it's just the movie part, which
Yeah,
is
Lisa's planning on helping out with that.
yeah. So we really don't need much help for the setup
Okay.
part in June.
Then let July go, and then let me know if you think August, September, October, you need an extra set of hands.
Yeah.
I can get a volunteer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, who out of us will be there at the June event? Okay. So maybe everybody. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Enough volunteers.
I just heard yes.
Billy has permission to be there.
Got volunteers.
Sounds like a yes.
And then Eric, is your team's plan still to do the crafts and activities?
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
awesome. And then Drew, can you remind me if we got the movie licensing for that through Swank?
Yes.
Do I?
Yeah, we've got
Okay.
the licensing, we just don't have the movies purchased right now,
Okay, that's right. Yeah, we did talk about that.
so.
Do we know how we're gonna move forward with that? Because I know we talked about
We
instead
used
of
to
doing a
purchase
DVD,
DVDs.
like if we could.
I haven't decided yet,
Okay.
one of those things that I need to do.
You got a few weeks. Okay. All right, awesome. Any other concerns right now about the first concert or movie?
We need stuff for the snack shack.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll send you the list,
Okay.
because I don't have it with me.
Yeah.
I'll send you the list, and then you can place that order.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry, back up. You were talking about Swank, because they'll send a DVD.
They won't.
They
No,
won't.
Swank is just for,
Just for licensing?
just for licensing.
Okay. So what are your options you're considering of where to
So like
purchase it
physical,
from?
or instead of purchasing something that's just gonna sit there and collect dust, or we give it away to somebody who's not gonna use it anymore, we just stream it.
I'm interested.
We talked about that last year, but
Yeah, we kind of swayed and got away from the idea of
Of streaming?
streaming.
Okay.
I mean, what's a movie? Cost $15.
No.
Well, we used to purchase two. We'd purchase two, not open one. We'd use the one, and then we would give it away.
Right.
And the other one, at the end of the movie, since we didn't open up, we swapped it out, went back to Walmart or whatever, swapped it out for the movie for the next month, and just did that throughout the season.
Okay.
Just so we had a spare,
Right.
in case something went horribly wrong with the disc.
can you still rent DVDs from the library?
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust them now, because they're pretty scratched up.
Does none of us own a copy of Toy Story?
I mean, I do, but they're probably scratched up. And streaming out, do we even have internet to
Yeah,
do
that's
that?
what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Like, what would we connect to?
It's too risky.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't have internet in the park.
Too much
We
invested
do
in
have
this. Yeah.
Wi-Fi over there, but.
We do.
I think our audience
Is it
wants to
public
see-
Wi-Fi? Like, will every parent
not
sitting there
public.
be on? Okay.
I like the idea of that.
Of streaming?
Of streaming.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, again, like if we can get a solid enough internet connection.
Two
At some
years.
point, they're not gonna sell
Are they
DVDs anymore.
buffering the screen?
Exactly.
Movie?
Hour and a half
Isolated
into it.
image?
We're gonna back up DVD for the first, yeah.
That's true though.
I think it's worth looking into though, at least.
Now, advertising, will you put it all on Facebook or whatever, or Instagram and that kind of stuff for the movie?
Yeah,
Like an event, okay.
and we've still got the stick and ground signs and stuff like that.
Yeah. just found like actual events on Facebook has gotten more people than, because the sign we only put out like 2 days prior, right? So it's not really enough time.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Nick, were you gonna do the makers market at the library? That maker space?
Oh, that's on Westminster.
Were you thinking about doing that? Cause could you make movie toppers?
Ooh, I don't know how to do that.
Okay,
I haven't actually tried any of that stuff yet.
okay. So last year or 2 years ago, I have a friend and she made us a movie topper for Monsters Inc. And I felt like attendance went up because people knew what the movie was. Because yeah, the QR code is there and it says when the movie is, but by the time you drive home, you've forgotten 17 other things get in your brain. But if you know the movie, I think it's easier to say, oh, I like that movie, we're gonna go. So do you want me to contact my friend? And I believe we paid her because it's expensive with her Cricut to make these, and she made 10 of them. So we picked 10 hot locations and put the toppers on top, and I felt like attendance went up.
Yeah.
Do we want to do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
If you can always get a quote, yeah, look into it.
Okay,
I think it made a difference too.
I do too.
Yeah, it did get people talking about it a bit more.
How many old signs do we have downstairs? Because Billy cut them, and then I put the sticker on it, and then I ran around and put them in.
I'd only be able to guess, I don't know for sure.
Okay,
You get 3 per sign.
yeah,
If you cut them, yeah. 3 toppers. Yeah.
okay. So I'll come and grab some signs?
Okay.
Okay. Do we have to make a motion?
If you
If we're gonna,
get a quote first and then,
yeah,
Okay,
That's the next time.
okay, and then I'll bring it back at the next meeting, okay.
And any flyers or like any for rest of the movies for anything, if we could have that, because there'll be people hanging out for the first hour doing crafts. So we easily have a table of all the information we can get.
awesome.
Would be good. Even like sponsors, if they have stuff, we should have a table with all that too. So, yeah.
That's a great idea.
Are you gonna do the craft between the concert and the movie? Okay.
Yeah.
we should definitely take advantage of the new microphone and make announcements
Yeah,
for
for sure.
the movie, since we have the audience.
Play
there.
music, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right. So I guess if there's nothing else on the June 14th event, then we can move on to town updates.
If it pleases the commission, I'd like to yield some of my time to Miss Sharon Young.
Don't tell me I don't have to go there. First of all, I never have notes. I came up and I spoke with Ms. Garlock about it. This crazy idea for old folks like me, who are no longer as capable of getting around and doing the yard work and that kind of stuff. I think you folks have an apprenticeship program where you have kids do community service for their service work for school. Well, my work brain said, why don't we do a little more with that? Why can't we hook up one of those kids, and I'm talking about kids that are 15, 16, know how to use a lawnmower or a weed eater and keep themselves out of trouble. Hook those up with an individual, and they'll come mow the lawn each week. It gives them the community service. It gives the older person another human contact, which we sometimes don't have. It gets the work done and keeps the town looking good. And the other thing that it could do is if you were amenable to the idea of the individual expressing appreciation for that child's time, it would give the kid some walking around money to maybe take his girlfriend out on a date or go buy mom flowers for Mother's Day. And it would also get them off the freaking screens. And you're talking to an old IT person, so yeah, I know about getting folks off screens.
I will get in touch with the service learning person at Century High School. I don't know if that can count as service learning hours. So let me figure out how to verbalize this and see what I can
What
do.
if you couch it as a beautification project for Sykesville?
Okay,
Yeah, maybe just do some word, finagling
Great idea.
on
I
it. Is
like
that the state of Maryland who determines what counts and what doesn't?
I have no idea.
If they get the work through us, that would seem a little more legitimate.
Yeah,
Right.
well,
True.
we would have people register with you guys,
Yeah.
and then you could hook them up with the individuals. And
Can't-
that way, we get around a whole lot of mess.
Right.
I think it's a great idea if we can figure out how to,
I like it too.
Yeah.
They can't get paid though, right?
They
They
cannot get
cannot be
paid.
paid,
Tips are fine.
but,
if you happen to drop.
they can't. They cannot be paid by you.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
An expression of appreciation is not a payment.
So a local business could give a
Yeah,
gift card or ice cream
Yeah.
or whatever.
yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
I used to I campaigned dogs, and we had junior handlers who could not be paid because it was against AKC rules.
Mhm.
But there are methodologies by which to express appreciation.
This is terrific. Thank you.
Very cool idea.
Just an old person, got a lot of time on my hands to think.
Now a wise person with a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you will excuse me, please, my little girl is gonna need to go potty.
Thanks
So-
for coming. Thank you.
Thank
very
you all.
much.
Thank you, Miss Young.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, to move on to town updates then. I did have my slides go and have pictures that I took today, but I guess I didn't save it to this USB, so no pictures, sorry guys. Linear Trail Parklet, they went ahead and laid down the cement pad for the outdoor classroom. I know I had written that there have been conversations going back and forth, and it's really just last minute jitters of trying to figure out the perfect place. We did have a concerned citizen state that they thought it would be better towards the little library that's there with the basketball court right there. But in the long run, we did find that because the outdoor classroom fixtures are wooden, it is going to be better right there at the spring house. So that's that. Splash pad fencing was also done this week on Tuesday, which looks great. And I went to each bar and shook it really hard, so it'll probably last 2 weeks instead of 1. Arbor Day tomorrow. We did Earth Day this past Tuesday. Yes, this past Tuesday. With great help, I want to shout out to Seven Springs Landscaping. They were able to put 3 Magnolia Janes into that park, which will be great for pollinators, which that park sorely needs. So they put, 3 Magnolia Janes out there. They look gorgeous, and we are going to hold a ceremony tomorrow with Mayor Link and as many people as we can corral. So if you can be there, I really appreciate you showing up. I also wanted to give a shout out to Commission Member Chris. I threw last minute once of volunteers at her and told her literally nothing about why I wanted them there. So she's been patient with me, which is awesome. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
The idea is, yes, we'll start at 3:30, but we've also heard that the elementary school kids get on buses at 3:45 and are dropped off at around 4 o'clock. So I'm gonna do a lot of vamping. After our meeting today, I think I'm gonna stop by the grocery store and see if they have the like bubble makers out yet and do that. Maybe we can have a race of some sort in the field, just something to keep people occupied if people show up. Please show up. And we will have Mayor Link reading off proclamations for both Earth Day and for Arbor Day.
So I had,
And that is at Harold Burkett.
so I had volunteers from high school arriving at 2:45, because that was your original time that you
Perfect.
gave
That's
me.
still perfect. I will still
Okay.
put them to work.
Okay,
Bringing up the sound equipment upgrade again. I can't say enough good things about Lee Hirschman and the band shop. I know I'm droning on almost like an advertisement, but it's only because this community is phenomenal at having a lot of great people in their niches, knowing exactly what they do and how they do it. I haven't had to look outside of Sykesville for a lot, if anything at all. So having Lee be our guy when it came to with the sound stuff was awesome. He has signed up to help us continue working out the kinks for a really easy mixing board. He didn't have to do any of that, but I truly appreciate that, man. Last things last, event debrief reminder to the general public. After every event, instead of a powwow, since we're all volunteers, save for me, I would like the commission to be able to go and leave. So I'm not gonna be like, hey, let's do our debrief now, when you're tired and exhausted. So I've been sending out emails after everything and getting responses. If you haven't given a response yet, you don't have to. I appreciate it, and I know it will only help us grow into a better committee going forward. And not on the list, I want to have a table. I think I've said this before. I want to have a table at every single event that we have, and some that are held by other people. So when we're volunteering at events, if we can have people sign up to work those tables, that was kind of the idea. So I know some of you have talked about giving out flyers and advertising and stuff like that. I would ask the commission to kind of think about that going forward as another thing to volunteer for. You wouldn't have to stand up. You wouldn't really have to talk to the public that much. You could just be like, hey, what are events you guys are doing? And be like, here you go, here is a brochure, kind of stuff. So if we can do that, awesome. If we can't, let me know sooner rather than later, so we can focus time and energy into something else.
can we have these at movies at the snack shack?
Yep.
Okay, and then can we have these as well?
I will check with Carrie. I'll check with our town clerk and to make sure that's doable. I don't know how much she usually purchases or orders, and we wouldn't need the whole booklet.
Right.
Or are you saying you would like the whole newsletter there?
Well, in this one, the cinemas are on here, but I feel like if the actual dates were written as opposed to just the second Saturday, June through October,
Right.
it might give people a better idea. But this is exactly who we are and what we stand for.
Right.
And if we could give this out at movies, or it could be at the craft tables when we're there, I think this would go a long way.
Okay.
And this, I really like this because it calls for volunteers, which we need more of as the season goes on, because we're all tired.
Yeah. I've gotten 2 emails, one back from our spring cleaning asking how they can become more involved and what they can do that's more like that.
Okay.
I've pointed them to some DSC community garden stuff, but I've also said if they wanted to do things that are more niche, that they can meet with me and I will give them every chore that we have, if they didn't mind me boring them to death. And the other person wanted to know how they could actually get groups to come and get involved with stuff. So
Okay.
we're picking up traction here and there,
Mhm.
which is awesome.
That's great.
Little by little before I get overwhelmed.
And it looks like Rebecca and her group come to all the cleanups and they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she reached out to us
Mhm.
this spring.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you just have a contact at Century, or do you also have one at the other high schools in the area?
So I give it to Century and she sends it to everybody
okay.
else, including middle school.
Okay.
So she's my point, but I reached out to Liberty on separate occasions for other things like Christmas, because we tried to do Liberty sound, singing, and Century band. And Liberty vocal couldn't come because they were in New York performing for an event. So, but no, my contact at Century sends it to all the middle and high schools in Carroll County.
Councilperson, do you have anything for us? Phenomenal.
Just vote.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we have an election coming up. But more importantly, I mean, I had met Sharon, or I know Sharon, but we had been talking about kind of different things that were going on, and that was one thing she wanted to see, and so suggested you guys were the best group to do that. And I think broadening it, just having she really talked about the connection between the kids and the community and having something to do, and if we had talked about if we had a community service volunteer group that we could, there are other things that people might want partnering around or support around that we could then help facilitate getting those kids there.
So if I get a group of kids that are interested, do I contact you with
No,
my
I think it would
names?
just be publicizing it, a registry for community members who want some help or need some support, what they need. And
Okay,
then you guys matching those kids with service hours with those community members.
okay.
So I think it could really grow into something amazing,
I agree.
to connect the kids and get them more active,
Mhm.
and giving them like kind of a one-stop place of where I can go to get connected in the community. I think it'd be great.
You too.
Anything else? Okay. All right, motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:39.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.